Hello and welcome to the Natural Way of Life. Moon time. What does that mean for you? Now, if you haven't already, on my channel under menstrual cycles playlist, I have so much content that will help you connect to your moon time, your cycle every month. Now, in this video, I'm going to be answering a couple of questions that have come up recently, and also please feel free to comment and share, but also any other suggestions that you would like me to cover or maybe go into in more detail. So, two of the most popular cycles at the moment, first being the full moon cycle, so when you menstruate with a full moon, second one being the new moon cycle, so when you menstruate with that. So I'm going to go into these two in a little bit more depth, but one question that did come up, and we're also, in this going to be discussing some womb healing too. But yeah, one question was, a follower had written, why am I supposed to go inwards on a full moon energy, which is actually outwards energy? So referring to their having their period on the full moon cycle. Now, first things first, your period, no matter where it falls, whether it's a full moon, waning moon, waxing, or a new moon, wherever you have it is where you're meant to have it at that time. But what I will say is whenever you have your period, that is in the accordance to the seasons of nature, that is your winter, okay? That is your inner winter season. So naturally with that, some of those elements, and I've got these videos as well under the playlist section, the different seasons, but one of those, so when you're in that winter season, it is more of an inwards retreat. It's more of your energy is often more reflective inwards of you. So like when you're having your period, you're probably, your energy is going to be a lot lower. You may need to rest more. You may need to sleep more. You might need more self-care at that time. So that is representative of your period, is the winter season. So regardless of that moon cycle it falls under. However, yes, I get what they're saying with that question. So which can seem a little bit conflicting. So that's where I'm going to go into it a little bit deeper now. So basically with the moon, that has an effect on everything, okay? Whether it be us, our body, the earth, the water, the sea. So going back in history, before electric light, the moon was what lit up the sky. People could see, people would probably go out at night more, maybe they'd hold celebrations then because they had the light from the moon. However, then at a new moon, that's when it was darkest, and that was that time of introversion, time inside oneself. And, even the moon is used even in gardening, the biodynamic gardening, you follow the moon cycles. For the gardening you have to do. So it really does have this huge impact on us, and some of us feel the energy of the moon more intensely than others. So basically what used to happen a lot before all this artificial light that we have nowadays is the moon would usually trigger ovulation because of that light at night. So they would be exposed to more light, which would trigger the ovulation, and that is then around 14 days later, the menstruation would take place at around the new moon time. So that was generally experienced in societies that use natural sources of light, so that being the sun and the moon. And I would find that interesting now, like in some parts of the world that don't have as much, obviously, electricity or don't use as much of this modern light and technology, if their cycles were actually probably quite the opposite to what's most popular in the world where we are. So that would, I think, be something really interesting to tap into. So obviously when you're exposed to mainly natural light, you probably have a higher chance of bleeding more with the new moon. So it's not to say that there's a right or a wrong cycle, and it's I think sometimes you just have to go with the flow of life. So if you're having your cycle at that particular moon time, okay, but what I will say is in this modern world, yes, I'm not a fan of modern life. Like deep down, I'm a really old school person. Like I would love to just live secluded away in the middle of nowhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like really at one with nature and just living so simply, because it is true. Like all this technology and light that is around now, it does disrupt hormones. It does have a negative effect on us. Like, yeah, there might be some positives like this. Okay, I can put a video out and connect with people all over the world. I'm grateful for that. But it's like the way the world has become so dependent on it and it is used so much. So something I would suggest to be really helpful is actually looking at your sleep hygiene and your sleep routine and adjusting your life so minimally you have like a minimal artificial light as possible, which I know might sound really difficult for some people because, you know, like maybe you work in an office, like your street might be just covered in street lamps at night and, you know, stuff like that. But there are things that are still within your power and can control that you can do. So when it comes to your sleep routine, like phones off, get it out your bedroom. You're not gonna die from not having your phone by your side. Like, get it away from you, get it out of your sleep space, get off the screen before bed, like a couple of hours before you're due to go to sleep. Just cut off the screen time. Like, what did people do in history before they had a phone or an iPad? Like, societies survive for thousands and thousands of years. You know, use your imagination, use it as a time to like write or be creative or read or meditate, or, you know, actually, you know, if you've got family or people around you, like, have fun, have games, have laughter. Like, not everything has to revolve around a screen, and that will have a huge impact reducing screen time. Maybe as well, like, you don't have to have lights on all the time in the home, maybe just the odd candle here or there, you know, just little things you can maybe look at changing within your life, things like that. So I would really say to look at reducing the light. And again, maybe you want to sleep with an eye mask. Some people then at the time of the full moon, you know, maybe like 2-3 days before and a day or two after, maybe they'll sleep with a lamp on, because that again will have an effect then and may change the cycle slightly. But again, it's all down to you, and that's where I would say always go inwards for your answers and guidance, because obviously I can share what I feel makes sense or may be relevant or comes to my intuition, but it may not resonate for everyone, and that's completely okay. It's about finding what resonates and what works for you. But yeah, I do think as a whole, as society, we need to be less dependent on all this light and technology and electricity, and maybe just make some adaptations and see how you feel for those changes. I mean, your body's going to thank you for it. So that can be one thing to look at as well. Just on that, and obviously the basis of why the new moon used to be more popular and now obviously the full moon is more popular. But also, with that being said, there's always going to be women that are just naturally, maybe their cycle is meant to align with a full moon, because at the end of the day, we're also all here to experience different things, and we have different experiences, and that's what makes us unique. So some will align more with that full moon energy. That might just be their life calling, or at this particular point in their life. Others, it may be the new moon or the waning moon. And like I say, if you listen to those videos and feel and see what resonates for you. And you may also find you have different experiences of your period at different moon times. So some women, for instance, if they have their period at full moon, they may feel a little bit more energized within themselves and a bit more creativity, or to do things outwardly, because that is what that moon cycle is also symbolic of. However, then the same person, if they then found they have a period on the new moon, they might find that slightly more intense and more of an inwards energy and feel a lot more tired. So it will depend. Just like I also say, I feel like if someone has their period on a full moon, it's probably going to be a lot heavier. Just because if we look at what the moon does to us and how it affects the water levels and increases the water levels in the body, it's likely you're going to have a heavier bleed at that time potentially. But through cycle tracking, journaling, they're really good tools to find out, okay, so if I'm bleeding with, let's say, a full moon, what's going on in my life? What emotions are coming up? How am I feeling? Say a few months down the line, you then switch to a new moon. oh, okay, right, I'm now going through this or that. How is the period showing up for me? They're really good ways to get in touch with yourself and see what it means for you, because the things I've posted and the information, that's only guidance. And obviously it does resonate for a lot of people, but it's finding what I think is what works for you. Now, a huge thing that's I think going to be so helpful in this year, because if you look at one of my most recent videos about womb healing and the word womb having 8 energy, and with us being in a universal 8 year, I know is going to be so popular, and so many women are going to be called to their wombs and to work on that healing. So I'm going to do a lot more videos on that, because I just feel like it's such a huge topic. I could probably write the longest book on it along with so many other things, because if you know me and you've been on my channel a while now, you know, like, I always have so much to say, things I'm passionate about. I think that's it. I just love to share, I love to learn, and I love to help people. So with womb healing, that is really a time for you to connect, okay? Really to connect to yourself. If you are called to embark on your womb healing journey, first thing I will say to you is you need to almost start a bit of a cleanse and a detox in your life. And that means, and I believe it when I say it, is to do that, I think you need to have a time of celibacy. So a time where your energy is you. Nothing is interfering with that energy. You're not exchanging that energy. No other energy has been exchanged in your womb space. To really benefit from some womb healing, I think that is very important. And I think as well, it's a time to really go inwards and reflect. So if you even just one night a week, maybe schedule half an hour or so and sit with yourself, lie down, make yourself comfortable, and just place your hands on your stomach, you know, and feel into it, feel into past relationships. Maybe there'll be thoughts, feelings or emotions that come up. You could journal these down. If you've got pain in that area, or sadness or trauma that you may be holding on to, or maybe you're having problems with your cycle because your body will try and get your attention by maybe giving you painful periods, maybe giving you cysts, maybe giving you a health condition in that area. These are examples, but it's your body's way of trying to call your attention inwards to the root of the problem and what needs to be dealt with on an emotional and energetic level. So that is your time, you know, to journal it. And the same way when you have dreams as well, especially when you're on your period, they can be incredible ways for you to tap into your intuition, premonitions and guidance that may come through. So keep a dream journal, keep a moontime journal. So when you're on your period, those few days before, few days during it, you know, you can tune into how you're feeling and what comes up for you. Also connecting back to that womb energy, the emotional stuff will have a huge impact. So doing that emotional healing work and allowing yourself just to feel into that. And I do think that does take a level of almost like alone time to do that, or maybe connecting with other like-minded women. And I think that can be so powerful and helpful. But when you sometimes take yourself away from everyone else's energy, you give yourself that energy you need to go within. And that's where the transformation and the power takes place. So I'm going to continue in a separate video more on the womb healing. I hope this has been super helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments. Like, comment and subscribe, and I look forward to bringing you more content to help you on your journey. And just remember, you are powerful. Embrace yourself, embrace your menstrual cycle, and accept yourself for who you are, because self-love is so important. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care.